Alright, what's up you guys? I am here finally with the most popular video of the year, the one I look forward to the most, and it's going to be an interesting one. 2022 was a year to remember. Like, good God, who would have guessed everything that happened? Not in just WWE, but wrestling in general. This was one of the most intriguing years we've seen in quite some time. And for WWE itself, dare I say, this was kind of an enjoyable year in like a fucked up way. But yeah, we have 12 pay-per-views here. This is the 2022 pay-per-view DVD collection. I also have the new Facebook page. The link will be in the pinned comment down below if you want to go join. Whatever you want. I don't care. Whatever your preferences are. So, 2022, very intriguing year, like I said. We have some new pay-per-views here, and this is going to fall as usual. Okay, whatever. There's really no stopping that. Alright, so, starting out with WWE Day 1. This was a Nick Khan experiment. I don't believe we're getting another Day 1. So yeah, Day 1 and only one, I guess. But yeah, this, kind of your basic cover artwork here. You have like the sun and the moon. I guess that's the moon, it's supposed to be. I don't know. But you have Brock Lesnar front and center there. And we, of course, had all your little pictures here. No match listings. Why would we get that? Alright, so we had Big E versus Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, and Brock Lesnar in a Fatal 5-Way. We have Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch. The Usos versus The New Day. We have The Miz versus Edge. And then RK Bro versus the Street Profits. Show you the spine there. Overall, not a bad pay-per-view. I thought it was enjoyable for what it was. You know, nothing to write home about, but not bad. And then we have the Royal Rumble. This one, I don't know. I wasn't really a fan of this year's Rumble. I didn't really like last year's either, honestly. But I thought this was a minor improvement. Very strange show. You know, a lot went down, obviously, with Shane McMahon, that whole controversy. Brock Lesnar was a very predictable winner, unfortunately. But, yeah, we had Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. We had Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins. Kind of a strange finish. I think it was a disqualification, so that kind of a bummer. And then, of course, you had both women, or the Women's Rumble and the Men's Rumble. And, like I said, I thought both were predictable, especially the men's, but it is what it is. You have a decent cover there, and this was a 2-disc set. What the fuck is that? I don't know what that is. I really don't. So then you have your 2-disc set. I'm just going to put that back in there. Maybe there's a reason that I don't know. Alright, Elimination Chamber. So yeah, this was in Saudi Arabia. You know, no Super Showdown this year. Instead, we got Elimination Chamber. You have Brock Lesnar front and center there. You finally got your Goldberg versus Roman Reigns match. You had Ronda Rousey and Naomi against Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. We had the, of course, men's Elimination Chamber match. We had Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, and Austin Theory, and Riddle. And then Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Doudrop, Alexa Bliss, Nikki ASH, and Rhea Ripley. So we did get a women's chamber match as well on this show over there in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, this wasn't a complete Saudi shit show, as I've said years past. You know, it was serviceable. And then, maybe I can fix this. There, that's a little better. Should have just done that from the beginning. There, now I can stand up. Or not. Whatever. WrestleMania 38. What a fucking show this was. Yeah, very strange WrestleMania, but it worked. Who would have thought we'd have Stone Cold? Honestly. Like, seriously. Stone Cold and Kevin Owens. Who would have thunk it? But yeah, this was a 2-night show, as we've had in recent years. I don't think there's a match listing inside here either. Oh well. I'm just going to read off the back. So, night 1, we had Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. You had Cody Rhodes returning. Once again, who would have thought that at the time? We all kind of knew leading up, but when the rumors were starting, we were like, nah. But the writing was kind of on the wall, and look where AEW is at now. So, very strange situation. So yeah, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. And then Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens in the main event there. And then night 2, what I tried to say earlier, we had a really fun tag team championship opener. RK Bro defending their belts. We had Edge versus AJ Styles. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. Surprisingly, a fun match. We, of course, had Queen Zelina and Carmella defending against Sasha Banks and Naomi. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. And then Shayna Baszler and Natalya. So your fatal 4-way match there. And then, of course, your main event was Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the upteenth time. Which, whatever. And yeah, the main event, honestly, that was probably the biggest thing I had with this show. It just didn't live up to what it could have been, and you could have had something stronger, but whatever. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns is their lazy go-to, which we will be talking about that later in this video as well. So this was a 3-disc DVD. You, of course, had The Undertaker going in the Hall of Fame, so that was kind of your big attraction as well. And then next up, we have Wrestlemania Backlash. I hate that they call it that. Like, for God's sakes. Like, we're not retarded. We don't need to... Like, Backlash was fine. Why do you have to call it Wrestlemania Backlash? Like, obviously, Backlash is the Backlash of Wrestlemania. For God's sake. But yeah, you have an Edge cover there. Somewhat similar to the 2007 poster for Backlash. And then, of course, we have the I Quit match, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. We have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins again. Bobby Lashley versus Omos. Edge and AJ Styles again. And then we have Roman Reigns and the Usos versus Drew McIntyre and RK Bro. So, yeah, no world title match, but, you know, at least he showed up for the pay-per-view. So that's something. At least you did have your world champion on here. Then you have your disc artwork. Next up, Hell in a Cell. You have Cody Rhodes front and center there. We had the first Meltzer 5-star match in quite some time, for a main roster at least. What was it, 2011? Maybe? Am I missing? I don't know. I might be missing something. But yeah, of course we had, you know, Seth Rollins and the polka dots there. But yeah, that was your main event. We had Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes in the Hell in a Cell match. And this is how it should be. Just have one Hell in a Cell match, and that's all you need. You don't need 5. You don't need 3, for God's sake. But we have Bianca Belair and Asuka and Becky Lynch in a triple threat match. We have Bobby Lashley versus MVP and Omos. And then the 6-person tag match, the Judgment Day battle, Liv Morgan, Finn Balor, and AJ Styles. And this one did come with a poster. We did get some pack-ins throughout the year. This one was a poster. And we have your 1 disc there. And then we have the final pay-per-view of the Vince McMahon regime. Very interesting. We have Money in the Bank 2022. You have Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch on the front cover there. You have Austin Theory winning the briefcase. We had Riddle, Seth Rollins, Omos, Sami Zayn, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss, and Theory for the Money in the Bank briefcase. You have Bianca Belair versus Carmella. We had the Street Profits versus the Usos. And then we have Becky Lynch, Shotzi, Alexa Bliss, Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan, Lacey Evans, and Asuka for the Women's Money in the Bank. And I think we all know how that went. And can't complain there. You know, I like Liv Morgan. Alright, so here we had a sticker. We have a Matt Riddle sticker. He's probably high as shit, just counting his hustle money. And there you have your disc artwork, stacks of cash. And the stickers coming through. We're good. All right. Here we are. The Triple H era begins. SummerSlam 2022. Honestly, I was not that big of a fan of this show. Like everyone else was. Everyone else was praising the hell out of this. I was like, it was all right. But you have Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns front and center. For fuck's sake. Once again. Please be the final time. I am so sick of this match. I cannot state that enough. But we, of course, had Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in the Last Man Standing match. We had Logan Paul versus The Miz. Decent showing for Logan Paul. I've said it time and time again. And then we have Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. We have the Street Profits. Versus the Usos with Jeff Jarrett showing up. And then Liv Morgan against Ronda Rousey. We had some returns. This really did feel like a new era. I will say that. Which technically it is. So, cool outdoor setting. First one since 92. You have SummerSlam, that is, 92. You have a Brock Lesnar sticker, and then your 2 disc sets. So, overall, it's not a bad show. I don't know. I think this one right here, I would say is pay-per-view of the year for WWE. Clash at the Castle. The first UK pay-per-view in so long, I believe since SummerSlam 92, bringing that show up a lot here. But yeah, you have Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre front and center there. And this was such a good show. You, of course, had Dominic's heel turn, which we were all waiting for. I thought it was very well executed. Sheamus and Gunther, Volter, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Another 5-star match, and I can't disagree. Great match. You had Shayna Baszler and Liv Morgan. You have, Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. And, Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. Yeah, sorry, this font's all fucked up on my camera. I read these through the phone camera, and it's always kind of blurry. And then we have Edge and Rey Mysterio when they team up with Judgment Day, obviously. And that's when we have Dominic's heel turn. So yeah, Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins, decent match as well. You have Damage Control there. Shayna Baszler and Liv Morgan, like I said. So yeah, and then Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre for the Universal Belt in your main event. And, I'm glad Drew McIntyre didn't win. I might be the minority there. I'm not really a Drew McIntyre fan. But there was a moment where I'm like, you know what? It would make for a fucking moment. And they didn't pull it off. But that match had so much heat. People were into it. This whole show just had a feel to it, a vibrance that you don't normally get. And it's because they went to the UK, man. They have huge fans over there. They've been waiting for so long. And I'm just happy they finally got a show. And a good one, for that matter. So this was just kind of lightning in a bottle. This show worked so well. It's my pick for their best pay-per-view of the year. And then we have Extreme Rules 2022. Kind of a similar cover to the previous 2 years, but, I like it. You got the purple and green. You, of course, had Edge and Finn Balor in an I Quit match. You had Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey in Extreme Rules match. You had Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle in a Fight Pit match, which was kind of different. Should have just done Lions Den, honestly, but whatever. So yeah, and then we of course had the return of Bray Wyatt. You know how I view Bray Wyatt, so I just kind of rolled my eyes and continued on. I've always said, he's a very talented guy, but please don't put him in front of me on screen. I just don't like him. I don't like the character. I've seen some of the recent stuff, and I'm like, oh, same old. Yeah, it is what it is. Overall, this was a decent show. Kind of a disappointing match with Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre, the strap match. Could have been better, but it is what it is. And we had a ladder match, so there you go. Not often you have that on non-Money in the Bank shows. And then you have a Demon Finn Balor sticker and your disc artwork, which is kind of cool. And next up, Crown Jewel, honestly, it's obviously not the best pay-per-view of the year by any means, but this wasn't bad. And dare I say, I really liked the main event. I was one of the people, you know me, I don't like celebrity involvement in pay-per-views or wrestling in general. But Logan Paul, I think he holds his own. This was a great main event, you know. So this is a 2-disc set. Of course, took place in good old Saudi Arabia. But we had Omos versus Braun Strowman. We had Asuka and Alexa Bliss versus Damage Control. We had Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar again. Kind of a disappointing match. Bianca Belair versus Bayley in the last women's standing match. And then Roman Reigns versus the media megastar, Logan Paul. That's literally what it says. So there you go. We had a Roman Reigns sticker. And you have your 2 discs. So, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, another enjoyable Saudi pay-per-view. Seriously, who would have guessed? I don't think I showed the spine. I don't know if I've been showing the spine for any of these. So here's what we're going to do. There's the spines. Sometimes I forget. I'm forgetful. And then finally, no December pay-per-view. So this is actually the final pay-per-view of the year. They dropped TLC. Thankfully, I never liked TLC. So I don't think they did one last year either. So yeah, no TLC, no December pay-per-view. But Survivor Series War Games. We, of course, have the Bloodline front and center here. I will say this. The main event right here was a masterclass in storytelling. This Bloodline storyline is honestly, even me, someone who's really jaded with wrestling, I don't pay attention too much, but this storyline is one of the best we've seen in quite some time. And I don't know, I'm paying attention to, it may be all I'm paying attention to in WWE right now, but hey, I'm at least paying attention to something. But we, of course, had 2 War Games matches. We had the women's one with, let's see here, where is it listed? All right, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Mia Yim against Damage Control, Rhea Ripley, and Nikki Cross. So yeah, you had the women's War Games match. It might be the first ever, I believe. You had Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey. You had Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory, AJ Styles and Finn Balor. And then, of course, we have the Bloodline versus Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch. And like I said, just masterful storytelling. Yeah, just beautiful. So yeah, overall, decent pay-per-view. Nothing too wild, but, I liked it for what it was. I prefer a classic War Games match, but that's just me, I guess. Still, though, great storytelling, and, yeah, nothing too bad to say. 2022, very strange year, but in a weird way, it kind of worked, for me at least. But, yeah, there you have it. 2022 pay-per-view DVD review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.